everybody. Thanks for coming and joining me, and thanks for introducing me. So my name is Elizabeth Hare. My pronouns are she and her. Uh, I'm a white woman with long brown and blonde hair. I'm wearing a white dress with blue flowers and a black cardigan. So let's talk a little bit about who I am. So I'm a new developer at Microsoft. I've been here for about 4 months. Prior to this, I've been a mobile dev for about a decade, primarily working in iOS and Android. Um, I've also shipped native applications for Mac and for Windows. Um, I applied to Microsoft to work at VS Mac. Prior to this, I worked on a sports betting application that we shipped using Xamarin Forms for iOS and Android. During that time, I used Visual Studios for Mac 2017 and 2019, and you really got to see the growth of that product over time. I've used Visual Studios for Windows before, primarily a developer that's worked on the Mac. And I got a chance to see like, oh, we're adding features, this is growing. And I really saw an opportunity for growth in an application that, I've already used and really like. So I'm sort of a customer turned developer. One of the things that I really love about Microsoft and working here is that like we dog food our products. So everyone on my team is using Visual Studios to develop Visual Studios, which is kind of rad. So we're talking about Visual Studios. Let's talk about it. So I stole this slide from the keynote. Thanks, Dave and Maddie. So let's talk about Visual Studio 2022 for Mac, or as I like to call it, Visual Studio, because it's what I tend to use. So fast and fluid IDE. It's powerful. It's fully rebuilt, most recently in .NET 6. Full native support for Apple M1, so you don't have to use Rosetta anymore. What that means in general is that it's going to be snappier. It's going to go faster. General, you like larger solutions will open faster. Really, it just means you're going to have a better time. You also get integrated tools. So one of the things that's sort of great about Visual Studios is all of the extra tools and features that you get. I work on the Visual Studios client experience team. Primarily, I work on like things like XAML hot reload and live visual tree. A lot of the things that happen after you, press F5 and you're in the debugging space. Something I like to talk about, and it's all for Mac for me. So again, just integration to simulators, emulators, just really giving you that like powerful debugging and refactoring experience that you sort of love. It's the tool you love, but on Mac. Great, right? So that's it for most of my slides. I'm going to go directly to Visual Studios. You'll get to see my slides here. Tiny little slide deck. It's great. We're going to hop over. So welcome to Visual Studio 2022 for Mac. So this is the, whoops. There we go. This is our project, right? Pretty simple, kind of cool. So space. Really, let's like dive right in. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the project types that you can work with in Visual Studio for Mac. And the answer is really whatever your heart's desire, as long as it isn't a Windows project. So obviously, .NET MAUI support in 17.3. It's there. It's good. You can download the preview version now. It's what I'll be using today. But also ASP.NET, Blazor, multi-platform apps with Xamarin Forms, so Xamarin iOS, Android, Mac, right? iOS native apps, Android native apps, Cocoa apps, tvOS, other miscellaneous applications, game dev, really sort of the sky's the limit. And today, since it's our focus on Maui Day, we're going to go ahead and just like get our Maui template app up and let's start working with it. So we're going to be using .NET 6 and click the continue button. We're going to name this. You can tell that I've been working on this a lot. So I'm going to name this .NET Conf 25. It's the 25th time I've made this project. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that this down here, these buttons, use Git for version control and add a Git ignore. This is basically just going to set up our little Git repository so I can show you one of the cool tools we have here later. My goal here today is just to give you a demo of this IDE, show you around a little bit, help you like see what's what and have a little fun. So let's hop right in. So first things first, you'll notice that it looks like Visual Studios. It is the Visual Studios you've used before, right? I'm going to go ahead and go to the top left. I'm going to click build and run. I'm going to get this building. This is the template app. I haven't opened this before, so we're just going to have that going right away. So what we're going to do here is we're going to, I want to talk about a couple of features that are here. So, oh my gosh, the presenting thing popped up. I hate it when that happens. So going to preferences. So let's talk about some of the like customization that you can do in the IDE. Obviously support light and dark mode. We're in light mode here right now because it's a lot easier to read. List of all of your keyboard shortcuts. Fonts, updated all of my fonts for this. I've made them much larger, again, easier to read for y'all. You can update tasks, things like, oh, hack, all of my personal projects. I've got, a million little hashtag hacks there. Let's see, talk about IntelliSense. So some of the behavior that you can customize IntelliSense behavior, things like formatting the document on save to make sure that your, formatting is correct. Updating IntelliSense behavior for individual languages, so C#, XML, XAML, Android XML. Some of the other like IntelliSense behavior and some of the other like color themes. So again, like a high contrast dark or high contrast light theme. In general, I'm going to go with this light theme because I think it's the one that I sort of like best here. So let's see. One other tip that I wanted to show, because it's something that I found out while I was setting up this presentation, is something called subword navigation. So for folks that like to use their keyboard primarily for navigation while they're writing code, folks that maybe have used VI before primarily, we have something called subword navigation. So if you select a string, it could be a string inside of like a string literal or just any symbol, as long as it has some sort of delimiter, so either capitals, dashes, or underscores, you can press Control. You can press Option and then left or right, and it'll actually let you jump between parts of the word. It's really useful if you want to like go quickly to like the end of a word and you're just trying to like write things. So if I wanted to jump to somewhere in the middle of this string and write, update the description, cute.net Maui bot waving, I can do that really easily. Super simple, super quick, kind of like a neat little feature I saw come in. It was highlighted with the 17.0 release, and I sort of wanted to share it with y'all. So let's talk a little bit about debugging our application. So obviously, here's our application, sort of the standard template Maui application that you've seen before with our little Maui mascot we all love. He's such a cute little guy. He's waving, he's saying hi. So, our standard hello world. With the twist, we have a click me button, very important. And when we click this button, obviously, the UI updates. It's really cool. I'm going to go ahead and go to our main page, XAML CS, so sort of the backing file. And in here, we have our onCounterClicked function. So I'm going to go ahead and set a breakpoint here and talk a little bit about some of the debugging tools that we have in Visual Studio for Mac. So breakpoint management, something that you would expect to be pretty standard in sort of a modern IDE. All here works sort of like you would expect if you set some breakpoints. You can see we have in our breakpoints tab here, we have a list of all of the breakpoints that you have in your application. So say I have something in my backing XAML CS in app main or app XAML. You can see it right here. You can turn them on and off from here and activate it. So it makes it somewhat easy to just manage all of your breakpoints from a central location. I think that's pretty cool. So since we have these breakpoints, let's go ahead and use them. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go to my application. All right, I'm going to click this button, and we're going to hit this breakpoint. So right now we're at this count ++ line. Cool. We can currently see count is 2. We have this like locals tab. Locals tab will tell us, what's sort of going on in the stack frame, what's happening with this object itself, what's going on with the event, which is an empty event for this, or the sender, which in this case is the button. So all of the sort of properties of this button are sort of exposed right here. Really powerful tool to sort of dig into what's going on in your running code. Similar idea, we have this watch. So watch, right? If I tell it I want to watch the count variable, you can sort of see what's happening as I run. If I go sort of step, we're going to see that count updates to 3, right? Cool, makes sense. Obviously, count isn't equal to 1 here, so I'm not going to get into this if statement. So we can sort of continue from there. There's this value here. I can actually change this to 1 here. And now I will get into that if statement. So you can actually edit the values in this watch tab on the fly in order to sort of break around your application in a way that you'd like to. So it can really help you set the application state to make it easier for you to debug. It's a really powerful tool. One other tool to sort of note in this space as well is the immediate tab. Immediate tab sort of has the same thing, and something that I was just introduced to very recently, but you can write some code here and have it execute immediately. So if I set count equal to 50, you'll see and watch it's updated to 50. And if I click run now, you'll actually see that it says clicked 50 times, because on the line that I was on, we hadn't set count yet, and we did. And now it's 50. All of these have full IntelliSense, so you actually get to see like what's going on in the running stack frame. You'll get some information about it, and it'll sort of help you, do some code complete. So very powerful tool, really cool, something I definitely recommend playing with if you're sort of newer to this sort of IDE, but definitely one of the benefits of using Visual Studios for me. So want to talk about some of the tooling that goes in to making your, debugging and testing experience better. So I want to talk a little bit about XAML Hot Reload. So I'm sure you've heard a little bit about Hot Reload before, but if you haven't, Hot Reload is the ability for you to, XAML Hot Reload is the ability for you to change something in your XAML and have it and see it represented in your running application. So to give you an example, let's say I would like to change the font size of this string, welcome to the .NET Multi-Platform App UI, welcome to Matter. And it's currently 18. That's a little small for me. So I'm going to update that to 24. What we should see is that reflected here. Now, I think I'm having something go wrong with Hot Reload. So it means that after this, I'm going to go get to log a bug, which I'm very excited for. But what you should have seen here is that I would change this without needing to save or anything. This would update immediately. This was working like 10 minutes ago because I was testing it up until we got here. So probably have something interesting on my development chain happening right now. So I apologize for not being able to show that off as effectively as I'd like to. But you can add and remove XAML elements, change positioning of it. Ultimately, it's something that's really useful for rapid iteration and to make some of those refactoring changes very quickly while you're sort of going through your code. So if you've ever had that opportunity or that moment where you've worked closely with a designer and you've needed to change something to get it looking just right or get something positioned just so, editing the margins, editing the bounds, now you sort of can. And it happens really quickly, super simple. I really love it. It's one of the best tools that I've used, and it's unfortunate that I'm not able to show you it right this second. So apologies for that. I hope you all can forgive me. So anyway, let's talk about my baby. So I've been working primarily with the Live Visual Tree since I started working at Microsoft. And what the Live Visual Tree is it is the tree representation of the Live Visual State. So the Live Visual Tree will show you all of the UI elements that comprise your application from the top to the bottom. They'll show you both your elements and elements that are included as part of the compilation. So for example, the window element, the process element, these flyout layout elements that are part of Maui. These are all sort of injected. If we just want to see our XAML, there's actually a Just My XAML button right here next to the filter. If I click that and I expand my tree, you'll see that all of the XAML we have now is just the XAML that we meant to include in the application. Really powerful and very useful to drilling down to specifics that you'd like to see. In a similar vein, next to every one of these entries in the Live Visual Tree, we have a Go to Code button. So if I click this button, mousing over it, you can actually get a pop-up that'll tell you where this UI element is defined. So in this case, if I click this scroll view, I know that it's defined in main page.xaml. By clicking it, it'll actually open up main page XAML. If it's not open, it'll take me to the definition of that scroll view, and then I'm able to edit everything inside of that. In the same vein, if I go into this vertical stack layout, I can click that and continue to drill in and find the element that I'm looking for. If I know that I'm just looking for a specific type, I also have access to this filter. So clicking enter this filter. And what you do with this filter is you can actually filter down to a specific type of element or an element that's named. So if you have an element that has, say, X colon name in it, look something like name equals my hello label. I don't know if any other developers have this thing where they type W after they type hello now every time, but if I recompiled this now, you'd actually see that this has a label that has it'll say my hello label next to it, and it can help you really to add some more context to what's going on in your UI visually there, and also interact with it in your code as well. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to recompile really quickly and just see if I can get Hot Reload to work here for you, because I would like to show it. Looks like it's connected, so I'm going to go ahead and just give this a try. So I'm going to go ahead and just add another label. I'm going to try this one more time. Hopefully it works. Like I said, it was working. Well, I don't think it wants to cooperate today. That's okay. So For now, no. This does work, I promise. I use it all day, so I think something interesting is happening with my developer setup right now. So sorry about that. Great. So one of the things that I wanted to show y'all before I hop over to one of those sort of larger XAML examples to show you something sort of what you can do with Maui on the Mac is I'm going to go ahead and save this. So cool feature that we have here is the Git changes window. Now, the Git changes window actually stores sort of all of the changes that we have or we've made in Git since we've done any work. So say I add a new label, right here, we should see that reflected here. And you're actually able to stage that change right here. Make a commit right from Visual Studios. Do this. This is a tool that's been here for a while, but something that's sort of improved over time. And again, it speaks to the improving quality of Visual Studio for Mac and something that makes me very excited to continue working on this application with this platform. So I'm super excited to continue working with this because of features like this that are in the pipeline and some of the other things that we're working on. I know that our team is extremely committed to making sort of the best product they can. So I'm really jazzed to be working with these smart engineers. Awesome. So there's one other thing that I wanted to sort of demo for y'all and show off before I switch back to some of the resources that you'll be able to use to get started on with Maui development on Visual Studio for Mac. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over to another instance of Visual Studio for Mac that I have open. This was supposed to be running, but I'll go ahead and just get that going. So this is one of the Maui sample apps. This is the Weather 21 sample app that they had going before. That's in the Maui GitHub repository. And one of the things that I wanted to show off, and I don't think really gets like enough like credit, is that like in one single project. So we always talk about this as one platform, one project, as opposed to Xamarin Forms like many projects. You get this like, oh, it's all here. Here's my iOS code. It's the specific code for iOS. There's not a lot. Specific code for Mac Catalyst. It's not a lot. But with these two different factors, this is the same app. I compiled them right next to each other. You can really see the difference in what's going on with the layout here. So, right, obviously we have this like two vertical column layout. We've got this really nice like all of this really good information about the weather. We've got this really cool widget about the wind direction, where it's coming from, and sort of our next 24 hours. And here we have like a very different, it's most of the things that are in the left column here. But you can sort of see that like, oh, Maui lets you really like do this true cross-platform development where you do have these two different factors for these different devices. Because mobile development is so constrained. So it's really like, as a mobile developer, that's really exciting to me to be able to take those two things and sort of push them out. So I wanted to highlight something with the live visual tree again, because it's something that I really do care about, is that when you have a much larger project and you want to do something like show off, oh, like I've named these elements. So if I want to go to the home flyout item, and something that got talked about a bit in the keynote and will get talked about a bunch, you can sort of see that I've named this home. I click on just my XAML. Again, we're going to go there. We get to see that the flyout item is there. We can see what the shell content is, what the template is. We can sort of jump in. So if I wanted to go to the home page, click here. It'll take me right to the home page XML. We can see that it's the content page for that. And we can sort of like jump in and try to find specific parts of that widget. So if I want to know inside of this Flex layout, what's going on with the Wind Live widget, I can go to that XAML right here by, again, clicking to the Go to XAML button, and it'll take me right there. The tool is awesome. It saves so much time in drilling down to specific parts of the user interface in order to interact with it more better, right? To do it in a way that sort of makes sense for you. For me, like working with this IDE is something of a love story because I've worked with a lot of different IDEs. So like I'm kind of a Visual Studio for Mac fangirl now. So, all right, that's it for my demo. Let's hop back to PowerPoint. You'll get to see my slide deck again. I know it's very exciting. I'm going to press this button down here, and it goes. So, and you even get to click this. Awesome. So, let's talk about some of the Maui samples that are available. I can't even do this the way I want to. So there we go. Do it like that. Close enough. So, I'm the worst. I don't even know how to use a computer today. There are Maui samples that are available on github.com/.net/Maui-samples. Those samples sort of include a variety of different samples. You can see the last commit by James Montemagno on there. So shout out to James. But they include the weather app, a calculator app, some podcast apps, some samples, and just a really good amount of example code that you can use to sort of get started or learn from as you're like jumping into Maui and digging in. In the same vein, we also have the samples browser. And that samples browser gives you a sense of like, here's a control gallery that displays all of the controls available on Maui. So understanding what the controls are and sort of what it is to write them. Some examples of flex layout, swipe view, behaviors, data templates, data binding, really whatever you like want to know, right? Like we have example code for it. It's all there and available. It's something that's very useful for me as a developer when I'm getting in. I've recently been writing a Sudoku app that I've been working on in Maui, and that's sort of, I've been coming back here constantly trying to figure out like, oh, how do I do this? What's the best control for this? So honestly, I think it's a very useful like set of tooling. I always love the documentation that goes into these things. Same idea. Again, if you want to dig into the documentation, it's all here at docs.microsoft.com. And if you go, /enus or your language of choice /.net/Maui, you'll be able to dig in and find it. So everything that I've done today, I've done on Visual Studio for Mac 2022 preview. I'm going to go back to this. You can download that now at visualstudio.microsoft.com/vs/mac/preview. It installs side by side with your existing version of Visual Studio. I want to note that today's my birthday, so happy birthday to me. But as a gift to me, I'd love it if anyone who has a Mac and is really interested to download VS for Mac, test that preview out, and submit feedbacks and bugs. My team is actually in Scrum right now, and one of the things we do every day during Scrum is we review all of the bugs, everything that's submitted, all of the feedback. We really want to know. We care. So if you've been waiting on something, if you've been sitting on a bug, today's the day. Throw that out there. And that would be lovely. I would love that. A note thing to look forward to, .NET MAUI tools are expected to GA in 17.4. Should expect that sometime this fall, I think, coming up. Should be great. And if you want to reach out, I'm here at ehair@microsoft.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you have thoughts, feelings, comments, concerns, feel free to send them my way. So I think that's everything I've got going. So I'm going to ship it back to James for some questions.